what day it is?
In general, after surgery, people are confused and then they get less and less confused. And the fact that Mr. Foster was following the opposite pattern was extremely concerning.
Dr. Stark.
I'm busy.
It's Mr. Foster. He's really confused.
It happens, Sarah, it happens.
Stark.
What?
Anesthesia does that to a patient. Just give it some time, it'll wear off.
I don't know what.
Do something! Help him!
Sarah, get a crash cart now, now!
All of a sudden, he stopped breathing, and nobody knew why.
BP is 170 over 100 and pulse is dropping.
It's Cushing's triad.
What is going on? What's happening to him?
Something had clearly changed for the worse. His respiratory rate's going down, his blood pressure's going up, his heart's slowing down. That's a phenomenon that we call Cushing's triad. And Cushing's triad happens when there's elevated pressure inside your brain.
Go
get some mannitol in here.
Joey,
You gotta stay awake. But when a child has increased intracranial pressure, you need to monitor the pupils to make sure he doesn't have a blown pupil, because that's an ominous sign. Stay with me, buddy. Stay with me. What happens if you don't stop the pressure and the pressure gets too high, you herniate. What herniate means is the brain contents squeeze out of the skull and the patient essentially becomes brain dead and dies.
I need to intubate.
No, he's still breathing. Call down to CT.
His CT was normal.
Just dial the phone.
I need another nurse.
Come on, Joey. Keep breathing, buddy. You gotta keep breathing.
CT. I need to
Work
see
harder.
that.
Keep breathing.
So we take Connie Geller for an echocardiogram, and we're hoping to actually rule out two things with this. One is endocarditis, and the other one is a PFO, or patent foraminal valley.
How bad is this? I didn't want to ask in front of my daughter.
We really just don't know yet. A PFO is actually a hole in your heart, and what can happen with that is a small blood clot can pass through it, not get filtered out like normal,
I'm imaging the atrial septum right now.
and get stuck anywhere, like your brain, and cause a stroke.
She's growing up too fast. She shouldn't have to see her mom go through something like this. Every time I have an attack like this, I'm afraid that's gonna be it. She's gonna come home from school and see me on the floor.
Doctors, there doesn't seem to be a hole in the septum, so it's probably not a PFO. And I don't see any vegetation.
It all comes back negative, and everything is more or less ruled out. So what you're saying is it's not coming from the heart.
Whatever it is, it's probably happening downstream of the heart.
Strike one.
Sammy, would you just tell me what's going on with Noelle?
Nope.
What? She got in a fight with her boyfriend. She screwed up with a patient, you two had a fight. She's just stuck with Scott again?
You know what, Tom? Not everything's a joke.
I'm trying to be serious. Maybe I can help her.
Sensitivity's not your strong suit.
You believe that? You really think I'm such a terrible person?
She failed her boards. Are you happy?
That's why. Noelle's been acting so bizarre today. Poor kid.
Keep it to yourself. How's Joey Nunez?
Not so good. Started him on mannitol. Gave him a furosemide chaser. I'm elevating the head of the bed. Nothing's working.
I don't have to tell you what's next.
Yeah, gotta consent him for an LP. Otherwise, we're gonna have to tube him. Carmen, can I chat with you for a minute?
Your scores were not high enough to be eligible for approval by the state medical board.
I thought I had it down. I'm in shock.
Frankly, I'm not. Eagle is no substitute for studying.
I'm sorry.
Dr. Harper, the only person you let down was yourself.
Just give me my daughter so I can take. Man, get off of me!
Ron!
But get off of me! What side are you on anyway? Hold on, guys. Hold on. Take a look at this really quick. So now I walk into the room and I realize there's another clinical finding I need to search for on this little girl. I think we figured out what's wrong here. We have to just examine one more thing.
No, you've done enough examinations.
Come on. Sir, relax. Please step back. Listen.
Baby, it's gonna be.
She has blue sclera.
What's that? What?
I'll explain. X-ray, please. Come with me. Now look at the skull. Now look very carefully at the X-ray of this little girl's skull. And there you see very clearly the pathognomonic findings of Wormian lines, or little squiggly malformations in this child's skull where the bone has failed to fuse and calcify. Remember these from medical school?
They're called Wormian lines, osteogenesis imperfecta.
What? What?
This disease process makes their bone extremely brittle, and even the slightest of force can lead to a significant fracture. We all learn about osteogenesis imperfecta, but it is very rare to see those diseases in the emergency department. Now it all makes sense.
Mr. and Mrs. Parnell, we owe you an apology.
You damn right you do.
I hope you understand we had the best of...
Understand? Let me go on somewhere.
With this condition, something as simple as turning your child over while you're changing them is enough force to break their bones. These parents are not child abusers. These parents are parents of a child that has a very severe medical illness.
Can I hold her now?
Yes, you can. Just be very careful, though, okay?
What's going on? You're scaring me.
Your daughter has a very rare genetic disease, congenital, something she was born with, okay? If you'd like, we can set you up with a specialist who can explain more thoroughly. It's hard to explain the emotional roller coaster you go through as a physician under these circumstances. You find out this child has a somewhat lethal disease process. For this particular medical condition, there are no medications to prescribe, there are no surgical procedures to perform, there's no heroicism for this child. This child's gonna live a very difficult life.
Can we take our daughter home now?
Yes, you can. You search for things in medicine, you find answers sometimes, and these answers are not easy to deal with. We're dealing with real people's lives, real people's misfortune. And it makes our job hard sometimes.